Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. My name is Deepti, and from Team Luneblaze, we have Ms. Priyanka with us to help us know about Luneblaze. We warmly welcome you all to another exciting session organized by Luneblaze, focusing on SQAA Domain 6 leadership. I am truly delighted to see you all joining us today. Before beginning with this session, let me introduce you all to Luneblaze. Luneblaze have been dedicatedly involved in accreditation services for 8 plus years, working closely with more than 100 schools, ensuring that they maintain and enhance their quality in education. Accreditation is a formal recognition process verifying an educational institution's adherence to established standards, ensuring quality and credibility in education. Mandating accreditation for all CBSE schools, the SQAAF framework has been introduced by CBSE. Well, Luneblaze is here to be your SQAA implementation partner, supporting schools in making their accreditation journey automated and seamless, thereby ensuring compliance with CBSE standards and ensuring educational quality. We at Luneblaze also organize monthly training sessions focused on various domains of SCORE, aiming to provide educators with suggestions for improvement of each and every subdomain and standard of SCORE. We provide opportunities to connect with other educators, providing a platform where your connection with peer educators can enhance your teaching strategies, meeting the evolving needs of students and education. And expert guidance from our esteemed expert speakers who have been outshining in the field of education for years. To introduce you all with our honorable expert for this particular session. We have Dr. Deepti Chaturvedi, of Education. We are feeling privileged to have Dr. Deepti sharing her deep insights on Domain 6 with all of us today. Before forwarding it to Dr. Deepti, let us first outline the sequence of the session. Beginning with that, we will look into SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. We'll have a brief yet valuable recap of SCORE covering all its 7 domains sequentially. Secondly, we'll start with a concise overview of Domain 6, leadership, the focusing point of this session. Following that, we'll analyze its subdomains, exploring their standards and benchmarking statements, along with the significance, offering suggestions for their improvement. We'll explore a case study highlighting the importance of leadership. Next, we'll conduct a short Q&A session where Dr. Deepti will share valuable insights by addressing few of the questions asked. Concluding session where we'll summarize all the key points discussed for Domain 6. Afterwards, we'll have a look at the CBSE inspection process and the latest CBSE circular regarding SQAA. We'll explore how Luneblaze assists schools in SQAA implementation. We look into SQAA, the session series, regularly organized by Luneblaze. And lastly, we'll conclude with a brief Q&A session where all the questions asked will be addressed one by one, followed by a thank you slide. After the entire sequence of the session, I would like to encourage everyone to participate actively and ask questions. Please feel free to utilize the Ask a Question feature for asking all your questions and stay tuned until the end for details regarding feedback forms and participation certificates. With all that said, let's welcome Dr. Deepti Chaturvedi. The session is yours, ma'am. Please take it further.
Good evening, everyone. Quickly, when we are starting with the SQAAF thing, before moving into it, when the why is clear, then the how becomes very easy. So I would like you keep on typing on chat box, and we are actually reading over there. I would like to see whether you have an idea about from where this SQAAF actually originated, why we actually are discussing this SQAAF today, or from where we got this idea of SQAAF is something that has connection with the Sustainable Development Goals or the SDGs, what was suggested by United Nations. Right, lovely. Geeta, to achieve SDG number 4. Now, SDG number 4 talks about the quality education. Quality education is something, a kind of very subjective term. Everybody can define quality of education in their own way. So now again, I will put the question back to you all. Would like to see in chat boxes what exactly that quality education means for you. Very quickly, 2, 3 answers I would like to see. What exactly you understand when we use the term quality education? It's a very wide term. It's something very generic, very subjective. So what exactly you look at quality education when we say this term? Any answers? Nurturing, compassionate, global, responsible, so many keywords all together, Geeta. A few more answers I would be looking at. Inclusive, perfect. When the knowledge can be applied, application based, perfect. Preparing learners for life, definitely yes. So when we are saying quality education, that inclusive, yes. So that means nowhere, none of you is mentioning exactly about the academic content which is there. More than the academic content, you are talking about the equality, inclusivity, you're talking about the holistic development, you're talking about a preparing learner for life that relates with the life skill. Can we have the next slide? So when we talk about quality education, actually we are talking about developing a holistic global learner, as Geeta rightly mentioned as well. Now, when we say as an educator, as a part of an educational institute, when we say that we want to have a learner or an education system of this type, there are definitely supposed to be some set standards which are going to check whether you are able to achieve to that quality education what exactly you are looking at. Correct? And there where SQAA comes into picture. Can I have the next slide? Now, when we say quality education, we first of all need to have clear parameters and definitions that SQAAF is going to give it for you. Now, very quickly, it says a school quality assessment and assurance framework, which is a set of standards and practices for attaining individual and institutional excellence. Now, if you focus on the keywords which are written over there, it is very clearly mentioning that the SQAAF framework is giving you that set of parameters through which you can identify where do you stand as in the steps of in the staircase of quality education, what you can add in terms of attaining the excellence, and how you can keep on evolving as an excellent educator or excellent educational institute. So SQAAF framework, if you just make it simple, is an assessment for you. As teachers, we are very well known to assessments. It is something like our birthright to take assessment of our students. This time, this is the assessment for the institutions. This is the assessment even for you as a teacher, as a principal, as a any leadership domain in your school, that you need to assess where do you stand, what all standards you are supposed to meet, and then how to reach out to those standards. That is what SQAAF is all about. Next slide, please. So, SQAAF framework is something which will guide you through starting from the level where you are to the level where you should reach to attain that excellence. Now, there are 7 domains which are actually defined under SQAAF. Now, 7 domains, if you look just closely to that, it talks about the first domain that talks about the curriculum, the pedagogy, and the assessment part, which is actually taking the maximum weightage also in the whole system. Any which ways we are belonging to an educational institution. So the first priority as a teacher, when you plan a lesson, you start with learning objectives, you start talking about learning outcomes. Similarly, when you talk about education, there has to be a fixed objectified curriculum, right? So the curriculum, the pedagogy, and the assessment is going to be the backbone of the organization, the educational institute. That has to be very strongly put forward, a structured way. So that is going to be your first domain. The next one is infrastructure. Infrastructure is not only your table chair or the classrooms and all. It includes all kinds of resources which are needed to complement your curriculum and your pedagogical things that you are planning to deliver. So infrastructure is something which will strengthen the achievement of your learning outcomes. When you go through all 7 domains, and during the discussion also, you will actually find that these all domains are connected to each other. They are somewhere interlinked. Nothing is there in silos. They are working together, and in a cohesive form, finally they are coming out to be a complete, well-defined structure for an excellent educational institution. Before I go further, I would just put it forward that if you have anything in your mind that you would like to share or ask, please feel free to use your chat box. We can actually, I will try to incorporate your things while I'm talking. The next one is your human resource part. Of course, the teachers, the admin, and even the helpers and the principal, the leadership range of your school. This all overall 10% weightage is over there, because the final delivery, despite of having an excellent curriculum and an perfect infrastructure, if your human resource part is not working well, you will not be able to deliver what you are aiming to deliver. So of course, this is one domain which is very much important. The next one is the inclusive practices. Can I have a quick answer of the word inclusive when we say? What do you understand when we say the term inclusive? Just one quick answer can I get? Anybody else other than Geeta, who is fast in typing? What exactly you understand when we say inclusive practices? As a principal, as a teacher, what this inclusive word means for you? To include each and every individual. Aparna, is it only to include? Yes, I believe inclusive diverse learners is a better option. 100% success for 100% learners, I don't agree with that. I'll come back to you. Including diverse kind of learners is something that definitely engage everyone. You know, as a teacher may not be connected directly to SQA, but I would definitely like to say, being a teacher, you can anytime deviate from your topic, what you are talking. So I would like to say, when you are answering, kindly stick to the keyword. Catering everyone, all background, engage everyone are something very generic kind of terms. Be precise, be specific when you are answering. The same thing you need to teach your children as well, right? Yes, special children, gifted learner, or social background, all economic background, different kinds of learning styles. Everything will come when you are talking about inclusive practices. I hope you all know about the work model where different learning styles are there. So the thing is, when you are talking about inclusive practices, and if you have attended the gender sensitivity session of CBSE, that talks about even the third gender now, right? So when we are talking about inclusive practices, your school should work as a place where every child, be it from any community, any caste, any gender, any economic background, any learning style, should feel comfortable in that environment. Then you are going to achieve the outcomes that actually that you are looking at. And then of course the management and governance, I will not go in detail over here, may not be a correct place. Coming on to the leadership, that of course we will discuss in length in the session today. And your beneficiary satisfaction. Again, when I'm saying the word beneficiary, who all are the beneficiaries according to you? in your school? Name them fast. Who all are the beneficiaries according to you in your school? All the stakeholders. Again, a very generic answer. Who all are the stakeholders? Management, correct. Students, parents, staffs, vendor. Very good, Smita Gandhi. Of course, the principal. Yes. Learner, parent. Yeah. So basic the community. Yes, Veena, definitely. Alumni, very good, Preeti. So these all are the stakeholders. Once they are connected with your school, they will be the part of your beneficiary community. And to cater their satisfaction is something what you are supposed to. When I'm saying you, it could be a teacher, it could be a coordinator, it could be a vice principal, a management person, anybody. But it becomes your responsibility that you have to work for the beneficiary satisfaction, because that will give you that foundation for your school. Your institution is going to grow as a hub where you are actually joining all these stakeholders happily together. So beneficiary satisfaction and obviously your learning outcomes will be seen in community. You will be able to cater, like we say, Mahatma Gandhi's quote is there, be the change you want to bring, something of that type. So yes, for beneficiary satisfaction, the changes that you are going to bring in community through that stakeholders definitely will be seen as a benchmark for your school. Can we have the next slide, please? So these are the domains that actually include all the possible areas where an educational institute is supposed to work to get a comprehensive, structured growth for the institution, for the learners who are actually there with you. Now, especially talking about the leadership. Now, I'm sorry, but I will say like this, that leadership is very much misunderstood most of the time, number one. Number two, there is always a very thin line being a leader and being a boss, right? So when we talk about the leadership domain, we need to understand leadership as a growth mindset, as a behavioral theory, more than just bossing around and throwing instructions randomly. So can you just tell me what exactly is a leader according to you in just 3 to 4 words, not beyond that? What exactly you think, or why you think you are a good leader, could be a question. Leadership, when we say, what comes to your mind? Leaders makes more leaders. Very good. Talking, taking everyone along. Okay, but taking in right direction is also needed, Asim Raj. Okay. Distributive leadership. Definitely, yes. I like this word. Accountability, yes. Inspire and motivate, definitely. Empathy, unbiased. Team manager, yes, Meenakshi. The leader is supposed to be, one job role comes that way. Yes. So when we talk about leadership, you have given me multiple things. Now be more precise and tell me what you look at your principal. When you look at your principal, exactly what do you expect her or him to get back to you with? How you think your principal, or any principal for that matters, could lead a school well? What qualities he or she should have as a leader of an educational organization? Be specific now, empathetic, collaborative leadership, correct. But when I'm talking about an institute, more sensible. Okay, Aparna, this is interesting. Shared vision is something I like that Gita is saying. So you have actually covered all the basic as visionary. Yes, definitely. So you have almost covered all the aspects that leaders are actually supposed to have. So they should be able to inspire and guide students. Now listen to the next question very, very properly and then answer. I am a person of more questions. I will definitely answer your questions also, but it is always good to keep the students engaged with the questions. Otherwise, you will sleep behind the cameras and I won't let you sleep. So now you tell me exactly, when I say a principal, talk about a principal as the leader of an organization, or a coordinator, or a vice principal, or a subject HOD. These all are the leadership domains in your school, correct? What exactly, how they will be able to inspire and guide what quality they should have if they are supposed to inspire and guide the team. What quality? One quality, if I ask you to, very specific, very precise. Vision. Correct. Because when you start driving a car, yes, vision, role model, giving achievable targets is best. Beauty Kumar. I like this answer. Now, the thing is, yes, being a good listener is something definitely, smart goals, yes. The thing is that when you start driving a vehicle, and if you do not know which way to go, definitely whosoever is there in the vehicle with you will go to the wrong way. Correct. So you need to understand, first of all, what are the achievable smart goals that you are supposed to set for your organization as a leader? Number one. Number two, and please listen to this carefully. If you want your team to come to deliver what exactly you are looking at, you should be very clear about the competencies which are needed to deliver that task. Number one, you should be able to guide them, which there are two ways to delegate a task. I tell you very simply. I give you a very simple example. You are start going to have one inter-school competition in your school, like right? When you look it from outside, it looks very simple. Okay, but it is not. Those who have organized it, you know that it is not as simple as that. Fine. So you have to guide your team. When you are supposed to guide your team, you should always be very clear about what exactly somebody said right away. We should be clear about our mission and how are we going to implement it. Somewhere Googled little bit. Okay. Now, the thing is that when you are going for one inter-school competition, you are supposed to guide your team about the whole planning structure. First of all, you should be very clear about, you should have that competency, that clear vision with you, how you want that particular event to be held in your school. I'm just giving you one example. It could be extended to assessment design. It could be extended to pedagogical delivery. It could be extended to life skills teaching in your school, the way you want to conduct PTMs. This all will be actually affecting how you are going to take your team further. Right. So when we say you should be able to inspire and guide the students, you should have at least that much understanding very clearly where you want to guide them. Do you have achievable goals with you? Do you have smart targets with you? Are you able to guide them which way to follow? So you have your plan. Somebody talked about the plan. Good planner, Meenakshi said. Good planner means not coming with many formats and many structures and diagrams. It should be something that can be easily followed by the team. I tell you one thing here. Okay, I am sure most of you may not be knowing it. Why? Because it is a part of a particular subject teaching. But still, I would like to mention over here. You must have heard about the name of Plato. Plato and Aristotle, the political thinkers, very old Greek political thinkers. When you read the Plato theory of justice, it says that justice means that somebody who is good in one particular job is given that job. And then you are just doing justice to the job also and to the person also. As simple as that. A good leader should be having that much of identification capacity that in your team, how you are going to utilize the capacities of each team member. That will definitely inspire them to perform better because they are working in their expert area. Correct. Now, when it comes to students, take the law of physics that anything moves from high, not physics actually, it is in chemistry and bio both, high concentration to low concentration. So from your side, if you are inspiring your teachers well, guiding your teachers well, it will definitely flow till the students. Fine. And then that motivation, that inspiration, that structuring, that planning, your vision, the things will flow in a streamlined way if you are clear with what exactly you want to achieve from your team. And of course, further, the administrators, parents, broader communities, all the stakeholders we spoke about just now, you need to have a supporting learning. Acha, Now, there is a keyword, learning environment. Very quickly, what all comes in learning environment? You know, if you understand the keywords, half of the job is done even when you are teaching in classroom. So what do you mean by learning environment? Quickly. Okay, spacious, happy classrooms, can be more interaction, perfect, play area, okay. Resources and seating, yes. Infra, human resources, okay. So you all are talking about all the physical things that we have around are the part of learning environment. Positivity, culture, yes. Now this is better. Virtual and manual. Afsana, I would like you to, or combining both. You are talking about the blended learning. Yes, Meenakshi, student center. So when you are talking about the learning environment, it is actually a combination of your physical resources, physical infrastructure that you have, along with that, engagements, the culture that you are setting up, the kind of delivery you are setting up, that all comes as the part of that learning environment. And as a leader, it is the responsibility of the person who is holding that leadership position to make sure that safe and conducive places are there, as Asim Raj is mentioning, are there for the learning environment, for the learning. So you can make sure that the learning outcomes are achieved. And if it is a student-centric, definitely the delivery will be much, much, much better. Promoting innovations. Okay. First of all, if I say innovation, can you give me any good example? It could be anything. First of all, please understand that innovation is not always supposed to be a big jargon. It could be a very small thing. It still could be very innovative. Can you share any piece of innovation that you have seen in your school, either in teaching learning process or done by any child? Beauty Kumar, be more specific. Innovation we are talking about. Innovation means something that is being done in a very different way. Fusion skills. So how come virtual learning becomes an innovation? It was innovated during COVID time and we have exhausted it. Too much of use we have done already with innovation. Innovation is something developing skills. I want one example where you saw innovation in your school. Making and serving drinks by class 9th, startup idea, yes. The startup idea with grade 9 or 10 could be one innovation. Smart classes are not an innovation, Aparna, not anymore actually. It was an innovation few years back, not now. I can give you one innovative idea that we did in our school where we were doing internships for grade 9 and 10. Robotics can support innovations. It is not always innovations if you are just following the fixed curriculum. But robotics, Bijan Chakravarti, can actually support innovations. Now, one innovation I can share with you is that we started internships for our class 9, 10, 10. Right. And they were actually working as intern for library, intern for pre-primary teachers, intern for PE instructor. And we were actually completing 15 hours of internship in a year, and we were giving them the certificate as well. So that innovative teaching learning practice that we started with was giving them a kind of idea where they can take up the more confidence, more interaction, more learning for them was taking place through this innovation, right? So as a leader, you have to keep on thinking how you can innovate better learning environment for your children. Like Beauty Kumar is saying, activities that they enjoy so it lasts with their memories. For example, we all have a practice in our assemblies having one word of the day. English may, there is one word of the day, right? I think most of you are having. You can give a thumbs up if you are having. But actually, how many of them remember that word of the day? So what we can do is, when we are saying that, may I come in? Don't ask them, allow them to say, may I come in? Ask them to say the word of the day if you want to enter in the class. They will say the same word at least 20 times a day, and by the end of the day, that word will remain in their memory. So this is again one small innovative teaching learning practice. Correct. And that can make their learning more permanent. Now, obviously, this is what you all have already told that what is, yes, company Genius Hub for internships. Preeti Singh, lovely. This could be one innovative teaching learning practice, right? May I quench my thirst? Yes, Aparna, great. So that is how, like, small things. Innovation is something very small. Innovation is not at all a jargon. Just do a little, give a little twist to something very regular thing, and they will have a fun in learning that. That's it. So this is good. Now, why a good leadership? Because what all we are discussing will be implemented only when you have a good leadership, when the person at the leadership position knows that what all he has to carry, what all he or she is supposed to do. Right. For example, one innovative practice I learned when I went to Air Force School in one of the cities in, I'm from Mysore here only, and there actually when we were talking about the general neutralness, right? So it is like why we are using like businessman, postman, chairman. Why do we have words which are gender sensitive? Why can't we have gender neutral words? So we had a good discussion and students came up with their suggestions of replacement of these words as well. Right. Yes, lovely. This is a good idea of asking them to say a synonym of that. Great. So this, you see, innovation is not something very difficult. The only thing is you should have that thought process, that mindset with you that you need to have innovations in your teaching learning process. Correct. Great. Head boy and head girl. Yes, you got my thing. It is becoming gender neutral, Geeta, when you are using the word president. And these small innovations, you know, will have a long lasting impact in the mindset. You can note it down and you will see those changes. Can I have the next slide, please? So a good leader is somebody who can cater all those things. And that is why SQAA is talking about leadership as a domain, right? Now, again, coming back to the school system, obviously, as a principal, even you agree, the three areas which are there in front of you. A leader, as a principal, as an educational institute, the first thing which is having 40% weightage in your overall domain sector also is the pedagogical leadership. Now, what do you mean by what actually? Don't give me the meaning. What comes to your mind first when you hear the term pedagogical? What comes to your mind first when you hear the term pedagogy or pedagogical? Child friendly, lovely. Then teaching methodologies, correct. I have a small suggestion. If you actually want to have a takeaway from today's session, first of all, is stop using the word teaching and exams and assessments. These are actually the negative words for children you are dealing with. Correct. So you can make it as learning methodology, or you can make it as teaching learning design. Well, don't call it only teaching, because teaching, when it is associated with learning, is fruitful. Otherwise, only teaching is just one way throw. You are throwing it onto them, whether it is reaching or not reaching, you don't know. Correct. So teacher, and you know, I'm sorry, we all are sitting as teachers community here, but one of my child, the child was having a lot of complaints, and when I used to have intense discussions with him, why you are like this, I was trying to get into his emotional area and all. A grade 5 child one day very depressed, and he shared with me, ma'am, you know, teacher and cheater has got same alphabets. If a child is growing with this mindset, do you ever feel that learning will happen? No. Correct. So don't try to be a teacher. Try to be a motivator. Try to be somebody who can connect with them. So pedagogy is not only delivering teaching concepts. Pedagogy is delivering yes, facilitator is a better word, mentor is a better word. And then pedagogy means when you are delivering a concept in mathematics, you have to make sure the skills, the values, the engagement with community is going along with it. The team building is happening. The children are actually engaged actively in sharing the things with each other. That is how the pedagogical leadership is supposed to be evolved. A principal or a leader person at the leadership position has to make sure that the pedagogical process in your school is not only subject oriented. It has to be value based. Integration part has to be there. It has to be where the child is engaged in the process. There, the pedagogical leadership becomes very much important. The second thing that becomes very important is collaborative leadership. Now, here I just say one thing, you answer me yes and no, and I'll prove my point. We started with a session. I was not knowing that we are not supposed to switch on our cameras or mics. Usually, I am in habit of taking sessions where a lot of discussion happens, right? So there could be one way where I can keep on throwing my things with you. The PPT is here. I can keep on explaining my work done. Other way, you get involved. Even through a chat box, I don't mind. But I could see my listeners coming back to me and coming with too many things. That feels me. So we are collaborating in this learning. Abhi, when you shared with your innovative practices, 2 takeaways I took from there immediately. Many would have taken as that. Collaborative leadership is where you are actually, it is more than interactive. It is not only interactive. Collaborative is something where we are willingly coming as a part of a team and collaborating, contributing in the outcomes. That is collaboration. The participation, the engagement, the active learning, the interaction, everything is taking place to make it as a collaboration. Again, if 1 or 2 teachers are following these practices and rest of the teachers are not doing it, then definitely it won't happen. So it again comes to the leadership. Leadership has to make sure that this collaborative learning is happening in the small sectors in your school. Correct. Number 1. Number 2, it is not only about students. It is about teachers also. Learning never stops. Even for me, I'm taking my takeaways with from your answers. I'll take more definitely, and I'll use it somewhere else in some other session. Similarly, within the school premises, you have a group of 54, 57, 60 teachers or much more than that at times. Collaboration between them is something which is very much important to enhance that collaborative culture throughout. And when I'm saying it, believe me, it is not only for saying. Right. You have to learn, earn, unlearn, relearn together. When I'm saying together means a simple practice, again, an innovation also and a collaboration also, I tell you. When we leave for the day, 15 minutes prior to that, my teachers, wherever and whichever school I am there, they can collect. Like if 4:30 is the time for teachers to leave, we assemble at 4:15. And any 2-3 teachers volunteer to come forward and share their best experience of the day. It could be a child interaction. It could be something that they felt very good about when they were teaching. It could be something, an interesting question from the child also. Or it could be an interaction with the principal or anybody else as well. But they share their best moment or even worst moment if needed with everybody. So others can take it. Like today in science in grade 6, I actually did this experiment and this went very well. Correct. Other teacher took it and they innovated and used in their classroom. This is a simple collaborative practice. But the learning happened immediately without much effort. Correct. So collaborative leadership, again, leadership comes into picture where you need to give them that platform for collaboration. Every 15 days or every weekend, the subject teachers have to sit together. One class, all subject teachers to sit together to have subject integration in that classroom. If geography is going to teach water cycle and science is also going to teach water cycle, both of you don't teach. Rather, what you can do is one will teach, the other one will go with a project on water cycle, and this is done. Correct. So collaborative leadership is where the leader has to make sure that they are getting enough of time in their restricted schedule. They are getting a platform where teachers, learners can collaborate with each other. Teachers can collaborate with each other. And even NEP talks about community involvement in school system. So that again will become a different kind of collaboration. Correct. In our Mysore city, we have a person, you all must have heard his name, Arun Yogi. He's the person who has actually made that Ramlala idol in Ayodhya temple. He lives in Mysore and we got a chance to meet him. Now he is going to conduct a workshop in my school. So it becomes a community and my learners collaboration. And I'm going to facilitate that so that my learners will get a chance to be a part of such an enthusiastic program where they will learn a lot of things. So collaborative leadership is something that will make sure that collaboration is happening at every step. And of course, the last one, the systems for ongoing quality and change management. See, the way the schools were there before COVID, we don't have them after. During the COVID time, the things were drastically changed for all of us. It was very difficult. Then we were actually settled with that new norm of online. Then we were back to offline. Then we were blended. Then slowly and slowly, now we are completely offline again. But our students are very much gadget friendly now. They are not so away from mobiles and screen and all. So ongoing changes are testing. You can't stay away from them, number one. Number two, as I said in the beginning, quality education. Quality is a very subjective term, and the definition of quality. And maybe we will come to this question of work culture maybe by the end of the session. Kirti can make a note of it. So what quality is something where we actually need to, what is the quality today was not the quality during the COVID time, right? And what was the quality, meaning of quality in my childhood is not the meaning of quality now for parents. Now they look for something different. Some of them will, in fact, come for sports. They don't want the academic child only. Some of them will come with some different kind of, so they want a customized child nowadays. They want a customized education. So now quality education is where the school is able to customize as much as possible. Parents were not that demanding earlier, which they are now. So quality and change management is where do you understand the need of the stakeholders, where the leadership is able to devise systems to cater those needs and can plan those changes and can implement those changes, manage the changes needed in the system. Can I have the next slide? This talks about the first subdomain, that is your, can we just have a font, can we increase a little bit? I'm struggling to read it. Now here you will see that you have actually 4 levels, right? When I say 4 levels, then it is, we are starting from the level where you are at the, can we increase the font size a little bit? You are starting from the very,
Sure, I'm just doing it.
because I am not able to read out. Thank you so much. So from the inception level, you are actually moving on to the expert level, right? Inception is, that is the minimum requirement that we can be there. And then moving on to the 4 steps is from the transit stable, and finally you are dynamically evolving. Now you understand the term here. The inception is something which is a very basic. This much at least every school will have, even without having a lot of efforts. Correct. Now, when we are talking about this, this is the first domain, and we are talking about the pedagogical leadership. So when we talk about a pedagogical leadership, minimum thing is that your year plan, your curriculum and pedagogical plan, and then of course, some allocation of tasks to staff members, your timetabling, the normal capacity building programs as per norms, what CBSE says, correct? And then what is ACPP, anybody? ACPP. Quickly in the chat box, there is a term, teachers implement the ACPP. What is ACPP? Quick, don't Google. Without Googling, you need to tell. I hope you will be honest enough. ACPP. Annual Curriculum Pedagogical Plan. Lovely. Now, annual curriculum pedagogical plan is going to have actually your complete curriculum plan. And if it is comprehensively devised, then it is a very ready reckoner or a guideline for any staff member to implement it. So at least that much is support, and it is mandatory for CBSE schools to get it ready and upload by September. So it has to be there. And of course, the student outcomes are shared in the boring regular PTMs. The parents will come and you will tell them how your child is and all that. So this is the minimum thing at the exception level you are supposed to have. Now, moving on to the next one, if you read the 4 points, then you will see that we are moving on to the smart short-term and long-term goals. So we are becoming more precise, one step ahead, not only just a curriculum plan for the whole year, but we are having short-term goals. So when I'm saying short-term goals, that could be according to, yes, achievable goals is correct. Plus smart. Smart, why, what is the meaning? Why smart is written in capital here? I'm sorry. Why SMART is written in capitals here? What is the full form of that SMART? Anybody? Specific, measurable, achievable, very good, realistic. And the last one is, so this is what a SMART stands for. Okay. So rather than just having a pre-decided curriculum plan, it should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound goals that those who don't know must be knowing it. As a pedagogical leader, as a coordinator, as a vice principal, or in fact CBSE, if principals, those who are here, they must be knowing that we have a particular circular of COVID time somewhere that especially came for us, talking about principals as pedagogical leaders. So CBSE does not take us only as a principal. They take us as pedagogical leaders for the organization. Correct. So they should know how to make measurable, specific, achievable, realistic, time-bound goals, how to set them, and not only setting the goals, but also keep on following up for the achievement of those goals, reviewing on those goals, and this. Yes, there is an exclusive training also for this, Geeta ma'am. Correct. So basically, principals are supposed to be pedagogical leaders. They are supposed to go through all this process to come to a status of dynamic, evolving school. Now, moving on to the level 2 only, the school leaders engage in learning. Okay, research, a very good term. How can you actually use this for your capacity building? A very clear question. Think and then answer. Teachers can also answer. When we say that research oriented, anything, a process, a task, anything, can it be a part of your capacity building program? If yes, then how? One example. Teacher should always be ready with examples, cut. It should keep on coming until unless the students are not very clear about the concept. Right. So what exactly when I say research? How a teacher can include this in their share teaching and learning with the community and others. This is not research, I'm sorry. Yes, research helps to update and improvise. So how as a teacher or as a principal you will ensure that it happens? Research is needed to update and improvise, no doubt about it. How you will ensure that it is happening? Research on good practices worldwide, again, little broad, funnel it. Case studies. Case studies is a very good way. Correct. Encouraging children to go beyond textbooks, give them projects where they are going to search about the particular. Now, I give you a very small, can we implement research at the level of grade 6 or grade 7? Can we do that? Yes, Asim Raj is saying yes. How? One example, quick, for grade 6 or grade 7. What kind of research project do you look at? Any topic like data handling. Poonam Singh, tell me a topic. Tell me a topic, Asim Raj. Any small case study when you are saying, have you done it? Any topic can you share? I can share one by the time you can think. It is grade 6 civics, chapter 2, healthcare services in India. We gave them a research project. I taught my socials teacher and she continued with grade 6. We gave them a research topic where they actually collected data comparing the public healthcare services and private healthcare services in India. They compiled the data, they prepared a research report, and they came out with conclusion on what all, they came with a suggestion on what all actually the changes needed for improving the public healthcare services in India. And then they came with a suggestion also that private public partnership can improve it better. Correct. So they did their research on ways of controlling obesity. Yes. So farm to plate is a very good topic. So what I'm trying to say is these are small things again. As a pedagogical leader, principal can motivate teachers to come up with these sort of small, like water conservation, what Geeta is talking about is the part of your that one also. I'm sorry, I'm missing it out immediately. It is coming from CBSE side also that we should have these sort of research-based projects. So research is something that will keep your children, your learners updated. You yourself will remain updated when you keep on reading. Like nothing. But if you research about, I'm giving you a cue, you please check it out. The Finland education system, one of the best education system in India. What all best practices do they have? And how can you bring it back to your system? A very good thing where you can actually impress your management, your parents, your children, and you will be an excellent in terms of preparing the SMART goals. Correct. So research is something which will make you a better practitioner. Real life scenarios on integers, I love it. Now, school leaders build a relationship with other pedagogical leaders. Yes, of course, as a principal, since we connect with various principals, various educationists, and at times when we go to CBSE or NCRT, we are having those trainings. We attended a lovely training in NCRT last year, February. 5 days training it was from organized by UNESCO about the mental health and well-being. So what all ideas we received there, actually that came back to school. Correct. And we trained our teachers for that. And now we are implementing those so many things in our school. So that relationship, this we are talking about the level 2. That is the transit level, a little more than the basic. Now coming to level 3, which becomes stable. Stable means, okay, you are much better from where you started, but still there are too many things to be done that will come in your dynamic evolving thing. So level 3, which is the stable, I hope learners are also reading with me. They are talking more about stable SOPs and policies. See, when you start something, you keep on trying. Okay, this way can we do it? No, this way is not working. Let's do it the other way out. So that process is where inception is happening, where the transition is happening from one stage to other. Once that transition is done, you are at some stable position. Now you know that how actually the SOPs, the policies can be defined, how recruitment can take place, how teacher training can take place, how capacity building programs are supposed to be conducted, the clarity comes. Okay, now this becomes your stable situation. Chemistry teachers, those who are here will understand the meaning of stable very well, where you are actually trying different compositions of some ingredients or some chemicals, and then you get a particular solution which is stable. The color is not changing, the texture is not changing, no precipitation happening, you are in a stable position. Correct. So you know how much of which component you put to get that stable solution. In the same way, after going through that stage of inception and transition, stable level 3 is the level where you start defining your policies. Correct. You start defining on how exactly the SOPs, the things will work, the classroom delivery methodology, the lesson plan is structured, the ACPP is going to be more structured, the HR policies will be there in place, and most important, the capacity building programs of teachers will be more innovative, more structured at that point of time. Correct. Now, when you have attained this stable situation, you have to look forward for something more. Correct. There comes dynamic evolving. Everybody, just Please follow this. Take a deep breath and listen what I'm saying at this point of time. Leave everything what we discussed. Dynamic evolving word itself is a very great word. Why I am saying dynamic means we are accepting that we are in a moving system. Okay, and evolving means we keep on evolving. We are not going to stop, right? So till stable, we stabilize our basic practices. Now, when we are coming to dynamic evolving means we are accepting ourselves as a moving system and we are ready to do the evolution process continuously without thinking that, okay, this is done, no more changes needed in the system. That is your dynamic evolving system. As a pedagogical leader, this is your last, where you set your system to adapt with the changes. Like those who were stable or those who were in the transition were failing in when COVID came. But dynamic evolving systems were very easily adapting the changes that came during the COVID time, and they started with a new system of education fast. So dynamic evolving is that place where the pedagogical leader has to ensure that your teachers are well equipped with the technology, your infrastructure is well in place to adapt with the changes, your learners and facilitators interaction, those SOPs of classroom delivery, the content delivery. In fact, coming to down the line, very small things, maybe your notebooks, presentation and your projects and art integration and experiential learning. These all things are in place and are happening in a correct way, adapting with the real life scenarios, ready to uplift every moment that becomes you. And when the change is happening, it is very smoothly, seamlessly getting into the system. Dynamic evolving is that where you are okay, you are immediately adapting it, little bit changes you are doing in the existing system, and you are the new one. That is dynamic evolving. As a pedagogical leader, this is what you are reach feasible point that you are supposed to be. Then you can, okay, fine. Now your system is running. Now the things are moving in, taking in, changes happening, and we are showcasing the outcomes over there. Can we have the next slide, please? The explanation. We will come to that later. Wait. Now, first is coming to the pedagogical leadership. First domain. Now, it is something, some suggestions that we from Luneblaze side are trying to give it to you is that, of course, this particular leadership domain enables the school leader to drive continuous improvement and enhance student learning outcome. As I told you, number one, improvement is a continuous process. It never stops. As a pedagogical leader, enable your team to accept those changes. And the learning outcomes is something, your whole system should always be based on those learning outcomes. You are not there for accounts, you are not there for recruitment, you are not there for other things. The first thing that for whole education your school is working on is the learning outcomes. So you have to make sure that it is being enhanced. Kirti, you want to say
Sorry
something?
yeah, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt you. I can see there are a few raised hands, so I would like to request the participants, Miss Rekha Pundir and Miss Aparna Ghosh Roy, to please put your questions in the chat box, and we will be happy to answer them. We can continue, ma'am.
Thank you. So if you want to actually do this particular thing of continuous improvement and learning outcomes, first of all, it has to be a culture building where there could be, even we have worked with multiple principals, you are also working. There are principles to them when you go, okay, ma'am, I have come up with this particular idea and can we do it this way? No, stick to what I have told you. Obviously, you are just closing the culture of change over there only, right? Uh, on the other hand, if you give them a patient hearing and you say, your idea is very good, can we add this also into this? It becomes lovely. I got a very small suggestion from grade 1 maths teacher. Ma'am, it is very difficult to teach them number line on board. Can we do it on floor, on a stage? I said, why not? But can we make a change over there? I asked my art teacher to draw the number line, paint the number line in the corridor forever. It took 2 days only. Now, any teacher who is teaching number line in any of the grade, they immediately can use that number line. And when children are jumping onto this for addition, multiplication, everything, they love it and they remember whatever they are doing on number line. So a small idea can become a great innovation later on for you. Fine. So that culture you need to build. Emphasize the importance of student outcomes in all professional development initiatives. As I told you, the school system is not working for HR or for accounts or for anything else. We are actually working for learning to happen. So all your professional development at the end of the day should focus on that learning is at the center. It has to be child-centric, right? Then ensure the school's vision and goals are clearly communicated. CBSE also says that you are going to have your vision and mission statement pasted at multiple places. Your diary should show that. In fact, you should have it in your assembly area. Teachers, students should be able to read out it multiple times. And especially in your vision and mission statement, the keywords to be underlined and to make sure that those keywords are aligning with your ACPP. Correct. Your annual, if you're talking about global citizen, your annual curriculum pedagogical plan must complement that how you are going to have global citizen, how your ACPP is actually complementing your pedagogical practices you are using to get them as global citizen. So your keywords of your vision and mission statement are very much important, and how you are translating them into your ACPP, that is, as a pedagogical leader, the principal has to look into. Then establish mentorship initiatives, pairing experienced teachers. Yes, hand-holding is very much important. You will definitely will have, every school has a group of teachers, the oldest ones, the experienced ones, those who are through and through with the school vision and mission. They know very well how you are following those practices, good practices from so many years. Those can handhold, mentor the new joinees, right? Later on, those new joinees will become your old ones and they will handhold. So this way, the flow of culture is ensured. You don't have to induct every time in a new way. Seamlessly, the flow of culture will be there from one group of teachers to the other group of teachers and the culture of the school. This is how culture building is not a 1 or 2 days process. It's a years long process. It keeps on evolving. Correct. So your experienced teachers should mentor the new ones. And this way, one by one, you will have that collaborative learning will also happen because of that. Then and as a principal, your job will become very easy, because once the teachers started sharing in class how actually it is supposed to be, you don't have to struggle with a new lot of teachers every year. Your hand-holding will make it possible for you, and your leadership job is actually becoming easy. But you have to facilitate that hand-holding in staff room. Don't catch hold of everything. No, I'm the principal. Everything should go from my side. No, you create somebody in the beginning only when I was talking about leadership. Somebody said that leaders create more leaders. Be that leader. Have your second line of leadership with you, who will actually be the mentors of your new people who are joining to you. And those mentors, those handholdings will make your job easier. And you will be accepted more as a leader rather than a bossy principal. I hope we all want to become that way, right? Next slide, please. Next one is your collaborative leadership. You have to create innovative and a stronger learning environment. So everything that you are doing in school must have this in mind, that you are creating a learning environment. So small practices, small innovation are supposed to be there. To have clear shared goals for school community, as we have discussed already, aligning with mission and values and ensuring that everyone is working towards the same objective. Here even team building comes in. The collaborative practices comes in that can be sponsored by the collaborative leadership only. You have to make sure that the whole being a leader, okay, I hope Kriti is noting down the questions. I'll come to that. Fusion skills. But you have to see, as a principal, first of all, make sure you are clear from here what you want from your team. If you are giving them clear instructions on what you want output to look like, they will work on it. Don't have mixed objectives. Don't have incomplete instructions. Okay. Have proper structures and proper objectives associated with your instructions, that we are doing this. Don't tell them that since I am saying you are supposed to do, we are doing this. Use the term we rather than I, first of all. We are supposed to do it because we will gain this out of it. As simple as that. I told you, if why is clear, how becomes very easy. If they know, if you know why you are sitting here today in the session, you will take interest. Correct. If you are just sitting here to get a certificate or just by chance you are asked to, so your why should be very clear when you are doing anything. That's it. So you have to give them, you share your experience. Being a principal, being a leader, you have too many experiences. I can go on with sharing my experience and then I can prove it why I am saying this particular thing. Okay, I'm sorry, but allow me for a very small example again. Children's Day, we had a big feast and it was around the sale of, we were selling the coupons of 5 and 10 rupees over there. Correct. And the sale of coupons was crossed actually 2 lakh. I don't remember the exact count. And I asked my teachers and accounts person that any coupon which is going out of a school office has to be noted down against the name of the child. I need that Excel, every child, how many coupons they have taken. And final amount. They were doing kit for 10 days. Ma'am, this is very difficult. So many students, how we can make an Excel of this, something, reasons for coming. And I said, no, darling, I want it this way. Understand, we need this data. At the end of the day, I got it. One rupee also we matched how much was sold and how much we received, everything done. After a week's time, we could catch hold on a boy who actually stole money, from home. And we can catch hold of that because of the data that we were having with us. We can showcase to parents immediately, see, the boy has purchased the coupons of 1,750 rupees. And the money which was given was only 550 or 650 something from home. If we were not having that data, we couldn't understand what the child is doing at home. This example I always use when I give them some instruction, which is initially they are not liking to do. But since I experienced that, share your small inputs to them, being a leader, so they understand that what exactly we are doing and why we are doing. Correct. And you involve them in the process. Celebrate the success is something, of course, very much important. In every process, any event, please, principals, make a note of it. When you are taking a review meeting, same day, take only positive reviews. Negative reviews to be postponed it for 3 days. Let them settle down. Let them be fresh again, back to you. Then after celebrating the success, after recognizing and acknowledging their efforts, please talk to them about what went wrong. There is a process of giving feedback. We call it, I'm just writing that in chat box. You can remember, we actually say www and EBI. So whenever you are giving a message, www is what went well. EBI is even better if. So first of all, talk about what went well with your team. And then just add on, even better if you could have done it this way. This feedback is much more effective than your shouted feedback onto them. This didn't go well and then you have to. No, you are there for a collaborative leadership. You enjoy their success. They must be very happy at the end of the day after that annual day or whatever specific thing they did. Don't just put that fire down. Rather, give them inputs to make it better. Then, of course, ongoing trainings are very much needed. Conflict resolution and effective communication, somebody was asking also. It is, again, a very well thought process that you need to develop in your school. Uh, Please don't laugh on it, but actually as a principal I have done it, because I have tired of hearing conflict between one of my coordinators and my teacher. They keep on fighting on daily basis in staff room, in corridors, everywhere. They were having so many disagreements. One day I asked them to hold their hand for the whole day. They will be together for the whole day. They were not supposed to leave their hands for the whole day. Actually I have done this, right? And at the end of the day I said, I'll talk to you again. So I put them together multiple times in different ways so that they started understanding each other after a point of time. And somewhere a cohesion developed. So there could be your own ways depending on your own team, depending upon the culture of your school, your own practices, how you are. But please have a clear mindset for conflict resolutions. Develop a system. And first of all, definitely develop communication system where your teachers, your staff members are not afraid, not scared of entering in your room. Let them speak up. And with that experience, we will come to know what is there in black and white that we can. But please, communication is something which is very necessary between the leadership and the team. And introduce tools like, there are many, only two are mentioned here. During COVID we ourselves have searched. Kahoot is there are Google Classroom can be used as a digital library. Then you have Padlet and Flipgrid. Then you have in maths, there is a beautiful app in maths. I didn't forget the names. Whenever I say, I'll get it after 15 minutes. I'll tell you. It's a beautiful app when we teach mathematics. GeoGebra, yes, GeoGebra is one. So introduce these, give teachers these trainings. You know, the worst thing and the best thing together is that your children are very much gadget savvy. They know more than you sometimes, right? So your teachers must be equipped to handle them. If they are sound in technology, then definitely they can be able to handle this new Gen Z which is coming up. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Now we spoke about the pedagogical leadership, the previous one. Okay, I'm sorry. The pedagogical leadership, the collaborative leadership. Now the third one is talking about how you can develop systems for ongoing quality and change management. Now I told you that we are in an ever evolving process. You just can't stop changing yourself. No, we are done. We are the best. We will not. No. So first of all, you have to foster a climate that supports achievements of learning outcome. Means everything starts again back to the same point, from the learning outcomes with the perspective of learners. Correct. So you have to have a climate where achievement of learning outcomes is always supported. You are doing this particular activity, but why? How is it going to connect with the learning outcomes? You need to ask your teachers again. And what do they need to achieve those learning outcomes is, as a principal, you are supposed to give. Then, of course, you have to demonstrate that responsibility and accountability that is finally yours. Something happened in a school bus, something happened in a maths lab, something happened in a staff room. As a principal, take that ownership. I don't want to hear from any of my staff member when you are coming to me, I could not work because of her. No, because same way you don't say, I was not able to handle this situation because of that. No, there is no scope for this particular answer for principals. You have to take the accountability, and for that you have to bring that culture where you can handle this particular thing. Everybody is included. There is a culture of equity and equality, system thinking, where a structured way of things are happening, the policies are at its place, they are being implemented well, then accountability and responsibility becomes easy. And finally, you have to provide opportunities to teachers and students to be creative. Please allow them. Let them dirty their hands sometimes and let them do it. Divergent thinkers, allow them to come up with weird thoughts. Accept those weird thoughts. Brainstorming should be a habit. First rule of brainstorming is that none of the ideas are rejected. Correct. So brainstorming should be a habit, a part of the culture of your school, so that they will start thinking in various ways. Otherwise, they will be like, you have that horse now, that have this way. We don't want learners this way. Correct. And of course, you have to enhance the entrepreneurship. Why? The job market is going to be more and more and more difficult every time. If your child is an entrepreneur, having that attitude, that skill of being an entrepreneur, of course, he will not only create or try to find out something for himself, but he could be a job giver. And that is a level of satisfaction, So please do that. And then future ready is a term which is very simple, and at the same time which is very complex. Future ready involves 2000 things in it. So your child has to be future ready with the skills they need for the future, with the attitude they need for the future, with the knowledge they need for the future. One simple word. There is a term competency. You know the meaning of competency? Anybody knows the meaning of competency? Quick. One aspect of competency is a skill. It has three aspects, three dimensions. Competency. One is a skill. Attitude, values, and metacognition is something which will be a part of attitude. This is correct, Jafar. Skills, knowledge, and attitude. So I am a competent teacher because I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm a competent teacher. Anyone could be. Say, for example, Kirti is a competent anchor or moderator of an event. Why? Because she has the knowledge of moderations, she has the capacity, the skill of moderation, and she has the correct attitude. So she is the competent moderator. Correct. So that you need to give it to your children as well. The skill, the attitude, and the knowledge. And then they will be future ready. For that, as a leader, please train your team. Next slide, please. We have finished it, I believe. No? No issues. It is about the climate for achievement of learning outcomes, where you are going to set up a positive, collaborated, and goal-oriented environment where they know which way they are going. Their targeted trainings are needed. Targeted trainings not only for the teachers, sometimes you need it for staff also, rest of the staff. They need to know about the strategies, the classroom management. Classroom management itself, classroom management is not having a class managed. No. Classroom management sometimes is having a managed mismanagement also. Sometimes you need to allow them to shout, to run in the corridors, to have fun during the learning process. But you know why they are doing it. It is again due to a learning objective only, because of a learning outcome. So classroom management is that, where your class, it is not only the arrangement of seats, it is not only the where the board is and where the TV is. Classroom management is how you want your resources to be arranged for a particular learning outcome to happen. Okay, that training you need to make sure. Then you have to ensure access to necessary tools of technology, learning material. Emotional support system is something very much needed. And as a leader, please make sure emotional support system is not only there for the students, as well as it is there for the teachers also. Because if your teachers, if they are not emotionally strong, they won't be able to give you the outcomes that you are looking at. Okay, so that emotional system is needed. Cultivate an environment where mistakes are learning opportunities. This is something. Nowadays on Insta, there is a reel coming up where Vidya Balan is dancing with Madhuri Dixit, and somewhere she falls. And she starts dancing in the same position and she takes up her position back. So the mistake that she did, she immediately beautifully took that and she worked it up. That is how our culture should be. If a mistake has happened, let it be. So what we have learned out of it, how we can make it better, think in that way. Rather than, no, it can't happen. No is something that should not be in the dictionary of a principal, definitely. The learning environment has to be conducive, has to be encouraging. where everybody is keen, happy in entering the play. And I tell you, I am not giving you a theory. It is implemented. It can be done. It is something achievable just with few structures in place, and you can achieve this. You have to prioritize the physical, emotional, and social safety by addressing issues like bullying, fostering of culture of inclusivity and respect, definitely. Uh, in our school, one practice that we have is in our circle time. We teach them initially 2 months. We teach them different magic words like hello, thank you, sorry, 7 these type of words in 3 different languages. So now they can say thank you in Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and Hindi, along with English, of course. Hindi is a big thing. And as of now, I'm in Mysore, Karnataka, so Hindi is also something different language for them. Right. So this is a very simple thing, very small thing, but very nicely getting into the culture that they have to use these magic words. Okay. Make it a rule in the beginning that you have to smile even when you are saying sorry or thank you to your sub staff, when you are wishing good morning to your aunties, your helpers in your school, for teachers, for principal, for you, everybody, it is a mandate to keep smiling when saying good morning. Make it a culture. Okay, keep a close eye on bullying. Bullying, we have gray areas in every school. You can't stop that. Okay, the only thing is how vigilant you are to handle it is something where your leadership comes in. The next one. Okay, the next one is the school leader demonstrates responsibility and accountability, as we have discussed. Interconnected approach to education that addresses diverse needs, and see, diverse needs, diversity, inclusive culture. We say all this, okay, but if we take it by meaning, then it becomes so many thumbs up. You want me to stop? Enough is enough, and the evening is getting bored, so you want me to clap and leave. No, I have to finish it off. But what I'm trying to say over here is that when we are talking about the diverse needs and all, first of all, the identification of needs is very much important. Correct. How exactly, like I'll again give you a simple example and you can correlate this. A grade 8 child going very good till term 1, and suddenly what happens is that the child is sorry, my video got off. Suddenly what happens is the child is going down in academic performances. The mother is continuously complaining that the child is not completing his tiffin, and too many things are
Sorry
happening.
to interrupt you, ma'am. I think your video is off. Okay,
No, it is
it's
on
off
from
now.
my side now. Huh. A network glitch was there. I have switched it on
Okay,
now.
ma'am.
Huh. So what I'm trying to say is when we say diverse needs, you need to understand, first of all, the identification of need is very important. Correct. There was a child in grade 9 in one of my schools during COVID time, and he was not at all performing good in online session. And he was getting shoutings from all the teachers. Correct. But actually, when we asked the child to switch on the camera, we could see the house. I don't want to comment on that, but we could understand the conditions at house. And when I called the father of the child, when he came to my office, he was completely drunk. I asked him to leave immediately, but I could understand why the child was not able to perform. Correct. So when we are saying diverse needs, first of all, we need to identify what actually the child needs. The child does not need academics at that point of time. He needs your emotional support. He needs to sit with someone and tell where he is finding challenges in his life. So the diverse need catering is something which is a very sensitive topic, and you need to have a look. The teachers are supposed to be trained to have a look where changing their what to say, their regular behavior, and then you please cater that. And of course, uninterrupted, the second one, support system has to be there for mentorships. The counselor usually we have in a school, if not, at least have it on periodic basis. Teach at least few teachers of your school in counseling and being a special educator. Okay, and then accountability, and you have to model it. Means when as a principal you take the accountability, your staff will start doing it, then your students will start doing it, and down the line your parents will start doing it. So you have to model, you have to present yourself as a role model. And of course, ongoing professional development for this cultural competency, then bias reduction. These are the practices that need sometimes special trainings, sometimes special activities to be conducted in your school in a regular process. So you should have a training plan for throughout the year where you can have these sort of trainings, and slowly it will pitch in and it will be there a part of your culture. Can I have the next slide, please? Then it is talking about providing opportunities to teachers and students to be creative. I hope, I believe certain things we have already shared over here. The only thing is the encouragement, the activities. Now, this all should be the part of your ACPP. Okay, you can't have planners in silos. Your ACPP, where you are talking about your pedagogical practices, your activities, the skills that you want to induce, and the integration, that all is supposed to be there in that ACPP. And then it has to connect with the application-based studies. It has to connect with the real-world problems, encourage them to come up with their innovative solutions, how they find it better. Correct. And then give them your inputs and give it a structure. Let them implement that. That Manak Award, Inspire Manak Award, I hope you all know. Manak Award, you can prototype as a small competition in your school also, where the children will come up with their small suggestions. We have started with a Facebook page. The Facebook page only is having the name as Be the Change You Want to Bring. So the students are putting up their small suggestions. One UKG child came up with, I'm using the blank pages of my previous year notebook to prepare my own notebook this year. For him, it is a big thing. For us, it's a very small thing. But he is trying to be innovative. Encourage that. Give it a platform. And believe me, he will come up with, maybe you never know, he can come up with a very good idea later on. So for that, you need to be clear how to foster these future ready skills and how to prepare them. That should be a part of your ACPP. Please, next slide. Why the fostering of positive learning environment matters. I hope you can read and answer. I don't need to add anything over here. We just have to have higher teacher engagement. And teacher engagement does not mean that the teacher is staying back till 6 o'clock. That is not teacher engagement. The teacher engagement is that teacher is able to their time well during the school hours and delivering in the optimized way, right? Then improved student performance. You should have your measures very clear. How you are, actually, I suggest in your report card, you have a graph included, where the graph from first term exam to the last term, you can show how the child has progressed. The parent will be very happy to say if the graph is going up and how the child is actually progressing in their studies. And your school culture is something that, of course, will flow from you to down the line. Then we have the next slide. There is a case study of the, I want participants, to be honest, little tired also. I want participants to read it fast, and we are running out of time. I can see Kirti looking at me, how long it will continue. So the case study is talking about a particular school from Delhi where they were actually having issues. You know, there is again a term, we call it need analysis. Right. So first of all, you need to understand this particular case study is talking about that need analysis and gap analysis. Okay. So they were falling short when they were having a lot of problems. They were having academic potential, but their leadership practices were not in place. The communication gaps were there between, like, this is something very common issue most of the schools have, that the parents say that they are not receiving proper information from school side. The diaries are not, teachers say that parents are not signing the diaries. So that communication gap is most of the time there, right? And because of that, when back to back parents calls and other things come, then staff morale goes down. Then poor decision making. Why? Because you don't have clear instructions. You are not giving others the capacity to take a decision, and you yourself is not able to take all the calls. You can't be there in school 24/7 in every area. So that all effects that was affecting the overall performance of the school. Can we have the next slide? So the solution is that they initiated a comprehensive leadership overhaul. They actually focused on developing a unified vision. As we started, this is something what we are discussing from last 1.5 hours, that a unified vision is something that is very much important. The leadership team has to organize the training sessions aligned with your vision statement, and you have to empower your second line of leadership for decision making. And then the implementation was done throughout the academic year. Their new strategies were implemented by this was actually done. I'm just talking about a case study. Regular meetings were done for the leadership council. Staff members were sharing their feedbacks. They were participating in activities. This all was happening back to back. And finally, this came out with a sense of ownership and accountability because the staff thought that they are supposed to share. They can share what actually they are feeling and how they are contributing. You know, if I speak a lot and I don't get any feedback from your side, the first thing that will click to my mind is, I think it was not good. I think I was not able to deliver. That doubt will give me ill confidence. Correct. Same way in a staff also, if the staff is not supposed to share their contribution, they will definitely go to that zone. So encouragement will come when they are allowed to speak, allowed to share. So for that, the leadership practices were worked over there. The decision-making process was made better. Can I have the next slide? And finally, what came as the outcome was that the school experienced significant improvement in leadership practices. As I told you, things flow from higher concentration to lower concentration. If leadership practices are in place, down the line, the things will happen. They were more collaborative, they were more, morale was increased, and the leadership improved, and then positive feedback started coming that reflected the leadership transformation. So the whole system finally came in place just by an initiative which was taken up at the leadership overhauling, a kind of setting up leadership in place, right? And then collaborative communication, staff development, that is very much important. You want your staff to deliver, but you don't train them for that, it is not possible. Train them, show them, let them execute, give them feedback, let them review. If this process goes, the implementation will be better. So that is what was done in that school, and that shows why leadership is important and why we are discussing leadership as a domain of SQAAF here. Next slide, please. Yes. Now the stage is all. Kirti, you can give me the questions and I can answer wherever needed.
Sure, ma'am. I'll read out the questions one by one. So, Ms. Priyanka has asked, how can we handle team disagreements?
Team disagreements. If you have 2 or 3 children at home, how do you handle their disagreement? Listen to them first of all. Give them chance to speak. Team disagreement is definitely, there is a chapter of power sharing in class 10, civics first chapter. Okay. There is a case study of Sri Lanka and there is a case study of Belgium. Please read both of them. Okay. Belgium is giving all possible options where you can actually communicate. So if there is a team disagreement, number one, what is the reason of the disagreement? If it is because of any instruction from your side or principal office, you need to explain them why you want them to do this particular thing. Okay. If the disagreement is because of some personal issues, please take only those 2 3 members separately and you have to take a call with your wisdom. If it is something depending upon an official task, you have to get the team together, explain your perspective and listen to their perspective clearly. I would suggest if you take that in writing and then you please go through that, make your decision over there, communicate very nicely. First of all, tell both the parties where they were right, and then tell them where they can be better. I hope generalized way I can tell you this. Specific cases, the things will vary. Okay. Next question, please.
Sure, ma'am. Miss Kruti Tiwari is asking, what is my role as an HOD?
Be honest, your KRA will be given to you from your principal side. HOD is something which is taken in a different way in every school. So your principal will be able to tell you exactly what they expect you. Usually an HOD, first of all, if you are a subject HOD or primary department HOD are two different things again. But if you are a subject HOD, then I would definitely recommend as a principal that you should have a clear understanding of the learning outcomes. Yes, if you are a subject HOD, then you should be very clear about, suppose you are handling grade 1 to 10. So learning outcomes of each grade in your subject to be very clear to you as an HOD. Then only you can hold on your team. Correct. And then different pedagogical skills, how to achieve those learning outcomes, how to have remedial sessions for your particular subject, how to support your team in getting better in their subject. Teaching is the first and the foremost role for a subject HOD. Apart from that, getting proper assessment design for your subject, having multiple assessment strategies for your subject, training your teachers for that strategies, that all is as a subject expert you need to do. Apart from that, your principal is the better person to tell you what she expects from you. This much is, as a principal, I could say, is the minimum expectation from a subject HOD. Yes. Next one.
That was all, ma'am. We can move forward and answer the remaining questions in the last concluding Q&A session.
So the conclusion is that particular session, what we actually want is that we want to empower the leadership to transform the schools into a learning community. School, teaching, discipline, exam, test, keep it aside. Make it a learning community. We are here to learn, we are here to experience, and we are just here to grow with that. That's it. And where every individual can grow with their unique personality, with their differentiations, that is what a leadership role is. Anybody who is there within the school system, you have to make sure that they are actually able to perform with the best of their competencies. It's very easy to say, just do the best what you can. No, you have to support them as a leader with the proper resources, with the proper training, with the proper information, and with the proper emotional support, and of course, the team practices. That is what the session today is all about. Next slide, please. Okay, it is mandatory. Yes, it is for all the CBSE schools. This slide is self-explanatory. Between 1st April to 31st of December every year, your self-assessment you have to submit. There is a self-assessment form. I think 1008 questions are there that you have to. Now be honest when you are filling, and why? Because during inspection you need to answer why you have given yourself this particular. It's a kind of self-assessment that you have to submit along with improvement plan. So they are talking in those 1008 questions, they are asking you multiple things, including the dustbins segregation you have or not, or your parent council is on a place or not, all these things. Correct. So you have to give yourself the marks, and those will be updated. You have to submit it to SQAA portal, and SQAA portal login will be same as your LOC user ID and password that every school has with their particular coordinator. The documents are mentioned here. Again, it's very simple thing like policy on relationship management. Relationship, when we are talking, it is about everything. Relationship from teacher to student, management to teachers, management to principal, to stakeholders, all stakeholders relationships, how you are handling. HR policies are there. School vision and mission statement to be very clearly mentioned, and school leadership policy, how the leadership in all the things that we have discussed, how leadership is involved in that. A particular policy is to be in place. And of course, Pedagogical leadership has to be there. You know, SQAAF says that things are supposed to be process oriented, not person oriented. So if your these policies and evidences are in place, any XYZ principal who is sitting on chair, your policies, your flow of things will not change. The culture will not change if your these things are in place. That is what SQAAF is looking at. Now, can again you can increase the font little bit. There is a peer
Sure.
assessor team. Uh, See, first one is your self-assessment. The other one is your peer assessment. Okay, that will be conducted. That will be like random in the sense it's not exactly the time frame and other things as of now, no, but it will be after your self-assessment on a school demand. Once you say you are ready for it, you can actually present your things, the evidences and all, and then may be conducted at the time of granting extension of affiliation to the school. Maybe is written, but make sure that when you are going to ask for extension for affiliation, you should be ready with your SQA assessment also, because that can be there. Purpose is, of course, to promote self-improvement. See, self-reflection is very much important. When you are giving marks to yourself, you will understand your gap areas. Okay, so when you are talking about purpose, the self-improvement plan will automatically come to you as soon as you are filling that self-assessment form. With the HR policy, you need to have everything, the recruitment process, the exit process of the staff, the well-being policy, your leave policy, and also your conflict resolution policy. Everything will come within, and your professional development policy. This all will be the part of your HR policy. Then, of course, the focus is, as I said, you're supposed to be process oriented. You're not supposed to be person oriented. So anybody who is sitting over there, it has to be same way. It has to seamlessly going. It is continuous and ongoing. Once you do your self-assessment, you have your self-improvement plan. You have to work on that self-improvement plan. Then again, you have to assess yourself under the parameters that SQAA is giving you. So that structure, you need to keep on updating your school on the basis of the structure that SQAA is providing. Then provides, yes, of course, rating discussion. Target group is all CBSE and non-CBSE schools, because it is a kind of framework which is needed for any school. Curriculum does not matter here. The institution focus matters here. So any school, be it CBSE or non-CBSE, the target group can be there. Rating descriptors are there. So when you are talking about the rating descriptors, in the scale, it is there. So if you're talking about one particular policy, then of course in that policy, what you have, what you don't have, you have to rate yourself according to that. Okay, and then when you are giving that rating, you will come to know exactly where do you stand and how you need to improve yourself. And the support includes self-assessment tools and school capacity building is something. I'm sorry. Self-assessment tool itself is there in the framework. And then when you are working on those self-assessment tools and you are actually trying, school improvement plan is something that will result as your capacity. And there where the Luneblaze is working, Priti and Priyanka will give you after this. Self-assessment is and peer mentors. Peer mentors is something the school nearby vicinity. When we did our peer assessment, it was like that. So when we are talking about the handholding within our staff, similarly, we have handholding or mentorship with some established school to a new school as well. So that kind of connection is also there. And the outcome is that schools can set the goals for the continuous growth. That dynamic evolving status is something that we need to achieve. So as a result of this whole process, you can reach to that statuses. Geeta ma'am, when we are talking about the HR policy, it has to have the recruitment process, the exit process of the staff, the leave policy, the staff well-being policy, where you have a staff trip once a year, or you like we have a process of once a month birthday celebration and all that, all will come in your HR policy. And how the funds you are arranging, is it like a contribution from their side or from a school side you are doing, all that will come. Their leave policy, as I told you. Then those who are going for long leaves, how exactly that particular thing will be managed, and their capacity building programs, their training process, that all, and conflict resolution mechanism will come in HR policy. Yes. So now I hand it over to.
Thank you so much, Deepti ma'am, for this interactive and wonderful session. The way you explain what leadership is and the importance of leadership within the institution through various examples, suggestions, and case studies will be very helpful for everyone. As ma'am has already briefed us about like SQAAF implementation and the associated documents policies, now we will be providing an overview of how Luneblaze can assist schools with all these documentation and policies. Luneblaze having 8+ years of experience in accreditation. Previously, we were helping colleges with NAC, NBI, and IRF, and now we are also supporting schools with SQAAF implementation by offering a comprehensive end-to-end solution for accreditation and assessment. We at Luneblaze help schools efficiently organize and manage the SQAAF data, including various documents, policies, and evidences for events like competition and workshops, orientations, etc. Now let's look in depth at how Luneblaze can assist schools. Kirti, can we please move on to the next slide? The number one is pre-built documents. As Ms. Geeta was asking, like what evidences and the documentations are required for the particular policy or leadership policy, such example. So here we are providing such evidences and documentation. So we are providing overall 1,500 pre-built sample documents, and we know that developing the right documentation takes time and efforts. That's why we offer briefing all the documents, policies, improvement plans, holistic progress card reports, sample evidences, whatever required, such as awards, certificates, and records like IEP, whatever records required. Now, next, if we talk about evidence storage, Luneblaze provide a platform where we can store all the evidences, be it related to annual functions, competitions, workshops, teacher diaries, etc. Workflow management, we all know that managing tasks and meeting deadlines can be challenging. Here with Luneblaze's workflow management system, we can assign the task to a particular teacher, or we can assign a particular domain to a particular teacher. And here we can also set deadlines to monitor their progress and ensure timely completion. 24/7 consultancy support. We provide 24/7 consultancy support via call, mail, and WhatsApp whenever required. And next, we have monthly training sessions. Luneblaze provide training sessions every month led by our SQAAF experts, advisors, designed to improve faculty knowledge and application of SQAAF standards. Next is the SQAAF assessment report filing. We support schools with the annual SQAAF filing on the CBSE portal, aiming to elevate the school's accreditation and performance level. Here we guide schools through the do's and don'ts of the self-assessment, ensuring that evaluation is honest and constructive, like not just a checklist exercise. Then the document audit. We also help schools in auditing the required SQAAF documents. Through the audit, we review and assess the submitted documents, provide suggestions for improvement where needed, help you identify gaps and areas for further development. At last, regular review meetings. We conduct these meetings to share SQAAF updates, new features, and to check on the progress made so far, which help us stay aligned and identify any areas of improvement. Deepti, can we please move on to the next slide? Currently, we are supporting over 100+ schools on their SQAAF journey, including re-owned institutions like GD Goenka, Evergreen Public School, and DPS, internationally as well as Indian language schools, Alien Junior schools, etc. We also look forward to assist you in your SQAAF journey. We hope this overview has provided a glimpse into how Luneblaze can support schools with the SQAAF implementation. For our assistance and more detailed information and a demonstration of our product, please contact us at the number mentioned below. We will surely assist you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Now I would like to ask Ms. Deepti to take over the session.
And Ms. Priyanka for such a wonderful explanation about the assistance provided by Luneblaze to schools in their SQAA implementation journey. Moving further, we at Luneblaze are dedicated to fostering learning and growth, and our webinar series are a key part of that mission. As you all can see here, we have been organizing monthly SQAA training sessions starting from April. In the coming month of December, we will be organizing two SQAA sessions, one on SQAA Domain 7, beneficiary satisfaction, and another on SQAA filing process. We will be obliged to welcome you in those sessions as well. Having said that, let's move further with the concluding Q&A session so that all your questions are answered well. And if you still have any questions left, please keep putting them in the chat box and we will be happy to answer. So, Deepti ma'am, can I ask, read out the left out questions?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Go ahead.
So,
Sorry.
Mr. Tanmay asked that what can be done to improve work culture in our schools?
These are very subjective questions. As I'm continuously saying, to improve work culture, first of all, think, and actually sometimes writing helps. So you write down your areas where actually you want to improvise. What kind of culture you are looking at? See, every school has got a different kind of see, culture is something which cannot be copied as it is, right? So you want your system of more collaborative, more discussion oriented, more communicative. You want it more disciplined and structured and working department by silos, integrated. This is up to you. But one thing for sure is that to improve work culture, you need to be very clear from your head how you are going to communicate to them as a leader. And that has to be a continuous, consistent, sustainable process. If you are in a school on time, without a circular, it is communicated to the staff that they are supposed to be in a school on time. Correct. If you want the classes, the kind of delivery and the punctuality in certain things, you need to show that walk the talk we say that way. If you want that punctuality, then again, events. We don't have to, we will not, I don't wait for the chief guest. If it is 5 o'clock, means 5 o'clock. Chief guest is coming late, they will be welcomed when they are in campus. But we will not wait. So very small things. I want to address the assembly daily. I talk to children daily and my staff sees how I am talking to them. Definitely they'll follow it without a circular. So when you are saying one thing as a principal, as a leader, I can say that when you talk about culture building, show that culture to them. Don't force them to follow. You do it. It will be followed on its own. I tell you a very beautiful example here that I encountered. In my school, I usually in Teachers' Day, I talk to children secretly. That don't tell it to teachers, come to me and we will plan something for teachers, right? I was doing it regularly. This year, grade 3 children came to me secretly to talk to me on my birthday about my birthday plans. Because they felt that only the principal is the person who can be spoken secretly. So they came to me. So I didn't tell this to happen. But this happened because they were observing it. Correct. So give them those chances of observation. You do what you want the culture to be, and then it will flow without anything. Okay, then of course wherever you need specific things, please have trainings for them. Call correct resource person to connect with your staff, and every time be consistent. Do not change your statements, do not change your process. Once you have said this, next time you should not change it. No, last time I was in a different mindset, now I want it this way. No, culture is something that has to be built in a consistent flow. The consistency you please maintain. The notebook corrections, do not compromise with the standards. She's a very good teacher. She's very good in that. So let her give her an advantage at some particular point. No, do not compromise with the standards. Let your statement be very precise and specific. Let have your policies in place and implemented properly, clearly. Okay. Do not give space for gossips. Cut it at first stretch openly in front of everybody. I do it this way. I'm sorry, I don't ask everybody to follow that way, but I do it that if I get to know something in terms of gossip, I cut it short. Don't allow that to continue. Have your spies properly in a staff room and everywhere to understand what is cooking outside your office, but use your wisdom to decide. But before everything, please make sure what kind of culture you are looking at. Okay, and then walk the talk. Give them that example as a role model from your side that, okay, I greet my school guard also, saying, how are you? That's it. The staff will follow. When the sports are happening, I am sitting with the students on floor or on the stairs. I am not sitting on my chair on a stage. The staff will follow. They will not become the bosses. They will be the part of your team. So flow with the culture, take the team along with you. I think this is what I would follow. Thank you.
Ma'am, we have another question. There is someone, Fusion Skills, he was asking, being a leader, how can we ensure that all members in our team feel involved, valued, and heard?
Communication system could be one thing. You can have a suggestion box where they don't need to mention their name and they can drop the suggestions over there when they want to hide their identity. Let your office be open for them. Let you be open for them all the time. When you are moving, I do it. When you are moving, taking school rounds, do not forget to take a round of the staff room. Please point out the things which are not proper in a staff room. At the same time, even I check the washroom of the staff room, and if it is not clean, immediately I call the helping staff and I make sure it is happening. Let your staff feel connected with you. If they are looking dull, talk to them. Talk to them. What happened? Something. There is no harm in getting down from your position and connecting with them. Even if it is a helping staff also, even if it is your driver, or even if it is your teacher or HOD or coordinator. Give them that feel that, okay, principal observes them. They will feel, you let your eyes be welcoming for them. Greet them with a smile. Even if you had a bad day, even if you had a confrontation with the management, when you are talking to your staff, let your eyes be welcoming. Communication is the key of everything. Okay. Then, of course, Saturdays you use for team building. Have small games. Let teachers play cricket match on any Saturdays when children are not in a school. Have Secret Santa. We do it twice a year. Have Secret Santa. And of course, one thing, your appreciation should be very unbiased. When you are appreciating anybody, please appreciate with the proper information on why that particular person is appreciated. Please do not appreciate randomly just because you like that person, or that the message should not go out that since that person wishes you good morning, ma'am, so you are appreciating that person. No, even if somebody is not wishing you with that much of wow, but good morning, ma'am is enough. What is more important is what the person is producing as a teacher or a facilitator. So please have that unbiased notion. Your appreciations must be very constructive. And even when you are giving a negative feedback, it should not look like a negative feedback. Give it as even better. If you are very good in this, please improvise this way. If you do it as a culture, I believe your team will go very well along with you.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, we have one more question. Ms. Geeta has asked, can you elaborate on documents and evidences, documentation of evidences?
Actually, we did in that slide, I believe. There was a slide of document. And when you take that SQA manual also is, because there are so many, there is a huge list of that. So elaboration over here is a big thing, I believe. There was a slide of documents and evidences. See, there are 7 domains. For every domain, there are specific policies which are needed. And to support those policies, there are certain documents that you need to prepare. Luneblaze is there for that only. If you get in touch with KPA, all of the numbers they are giving, they will guide you in terms of all the documentation and how to actually provide evidences for that. That is there. One simple example could be maybe your parent association, parent teacher association, PTA. So there is a policy for how to actually create that PTA. Then when you are having meetings, there is a structure of MOMs that you need to keep and how those are implemented and how PTA members are informed about the implementation. So that closes, the closure is very important. That closes one section of PTAs. Similarly, there is a huge list that can be shared with you, I believe, Kirti.
Yeah, ma'am. So that was all. I think we have covered all of the questions. And concluding the session, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks once again to Dr. Deepti for leading this fantastic session. We have all learned a lot, and your insights on SQAA Domain 6 were really very valuable for all of us. Special thanks to all of you for the active participation and involvement. Your engagement made the session truly lively and engaged. Hope all your questions and queries regarding SQAA must have been answered. We regularly host such sessions on various topics and domains of SQAA and would be honored to have you in the upcoming sessions as well. Lastly, let me inform you that this time we will be sharing the feedback form link during the session only, and no link for the feedback form will be shared after the session concludes. And the participation certificates will be given based on your responses within one upcoming week. So thank you in advance for your feedback, and thanks a lot everyone. Best wishes for your journey through SQAA, especially in Domain 6. We look forward to welcoming you again in our upcoming sessions on SQAA Domain 7 and the final SQAA filing process session. Wishing you all a wonderful weekend.
Can I leave the meeting, Katie?
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you so much, everyone. Love to have that session. Thank you so much, Kirti and Priyanka, for all the support from the background.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Bye.